You've probably held thousands of these in your hand. A single grain of rice. It seems so simple, right? So ordinary. But what if I told you that inside this tiny little seed is the story of entire empires, the blueprint for our societies, and really, the key to how half the world lives today?
I mean, just think about that for a second. Those incredible terraced landscapes carved into mountainsides. That's architecture, and it was dictated by the needs of rice. The seasonal calendars that basically became the foundation for early astronomy, that was politics, driven by the need to manage water for rice paddies. And the rituals, the offerings at the very heart of so many ancient religions, yep, all centered on this one grain.
And that's the big question, isn't it? How did this happen? That's what we're going to dig into. We're going to trace its journey from a wild grass to the engine of empires, and really uncover how it still defines our world in ways you might not expect.
Okay, let's dive right in. We tend to think of rice as just a side dish, a blank canvas, but that's a huge misunderstanding. This grain isn't some passive ingredient. It's been an active, driving force in human history.
To really understand its power, we have to go back, way back. We're talking thousands of years ago, into the wetlands of Asia, where our whole story with this incredible grain truly began.
And this, right here, is the crucial point. We love to think that we tamed rice, that we domesticated it, but in so many ways, it tamed us. See, cultivating rice required massive cooperation. It required planning, and it meant staying in one place. It literally forced us to build communities around its needs.
Just look at this time scale. This wasn't some eureka moment. It was a slow, deliberate 7,500-year process of observation and selection. We're talking about generations upon generations of people who slowly transformed a wild grass into a reliable food source. And in doing that, they literally reshaped the face of the earth, creating the very first large-scale engineered landscapes.
So this one little genetic tweak, it changed absolutely everything. Wild rice, naturally, it drops its seeds to reproduce. But our ancestors started noticing and selecting the plants that held onto their seeds, which made them way easier to harvest. That single mutation made the plant totally reliant on us for survival, and, in turn, we became completely reliant on it.
Now, let's zoom in, way in. We're going from the vastness of history right down to the microscopic architecture of a single grain. What exactly makes rice such a brilliant piece of natural engineering?
Okay, think of each grain as a tiny, perfect survival pod. The husk on the outside, that's its armor. The bran and the germ, that's the life support system. It's got all the vitamins and nutrients. And the endosperm, deep inside, that's the fuel tank, pure starchy energy. Almost the entire history of how we eat rice comes down to a single choice. Which of these layers do we strip away?
And this right here, this is the fundamental trade-off. Brown rice keeps all those nutritious layers, but the natural oils in them can spoil pretty quickly. White rice, on the other hand, is just that starchy core, which can last for years. For most of human history, when survival was on the line, the choice was obvious. Shelf life beat nutrition, hands down. And that's exactly why white rice became the global standard. But the world of rice isn't just black and white, or, brown. You've got these incredible varieties like black rice, which has the same kind of antioxidants you find in blueberries, or these vibrant red rices. These were once so prized they were reserved for royalty. Today, we call them superfoods, but what they really are is living artifacts. They're genetic libraries, preserving thousands of years of agricultural history.
Now, here's where it gets a little complicated. Because rice grows in flooded paddies, it's really good at absorbing arsenic from the soil and water. And that arsenic tends to concentrate in the outer bran layer. So while brown rice has more nutrients, it can also have significantly more arsenic. This isn't about being scared of rice, not at all. It's just about being informed.
Okay, let's zoom back out again. We've gone from the grain's biology, now let's look at its cultural expression. It's fascinating how this one single seed has been interpreted in so many radically different ways across the globe, becoming the heart of countless cuisines. So in Japan, rice is treated with an almost spiritual reverence. It is all about purity. Each grain is washed meticulously until the water runs perfectly clear. It's cooked with absolute precision and then seasoned to become shari. A great sushi master will tell you, the fish is just the passenger, but the rice is the soul of the journey. But then, let's travel to India, and the entire philosophy just flips. Here, rice isn't about purity, it's about absorption. In a majestic biryani, the goal is for each long, elegant grain of basmati to stay perfectly separate, yet act as a tiny sponge, soaking up layers of saffron, cardamom, and aromatic ghee. It's a full-on symphony, not a solo performance. And in Southeast Asia, rice becomes this generous, aromatic carrier of flavor. For a dish like nasi lemak, the rice itself is totally transformed. It's steamed with creamy coconut milk and fragrant pandan leaves. It's not a neutral base, it's a flavorful, rich, and comforting foundation for the entire meal.
So when we look at a simple bowl of rice, we're not just seeing food. We're seeing all these threads woven together, the deep, deep history, the brilliant biology, and the vibrant culture. This grain hasn't just been our sustenance, it's truly been our partner.
And this, right here, is really the ultimate takeaway. The demands of cultivating rice, the need for complex irrigation, for calendars, for massive community cooperation, it didn't just give us food. It gave us the very blueprint for settled civilization as we know it.
And that brings us right to today. This ancient grain that allowed our population to absolutely flourish now faces these immense challenges from a changing climate. How we choose to continue this 10,000-year-old partnership? Well, that's going to define our future. So the next time you hold a single grain of rice in your hand, just remember the world that's packed inside it.